is probably the shortest and most poignant parable in the whole of the Gospels. You got to remember, I remind you every time, a parable doesn't create truth, it merely points to it. That is a pulpit. That is a piano. And seeing it and touching it and feeling it, you can say, well, hey, a matter of fact, that is a piano. Well, that's what parable does to the gospel. When Jesus uses or employs parable, he's not doing it because of good rhetoric or fancy language. He's doing it to simply say, this is. And you should acknowledge it as matter-of-factishly as he does. Well, what about this kingdom of God? Does it really exist? Jesus said, let me tell you about the kingdom of God, Doug. A man was crossing a field, and he kicked something, and he looked down, and he dug it a little bit, and he opened it up, and it was a chest of pearls and riches and gold. So what did the guy do? Well, he shut the chest quick, looked around like we always do. He buried it back up, and he went and he sold his chariot, and he sold his house, and he sold everything he had in order to get enough money to buy that field. Why? Because he knew what was in that field. And if you buy a piece of property, anything in or on that property is yours. So that's the drive he had when he discovered the kingdom of God. I wonder how many Christians today think in terms of that little parable as Jesus did. See, there was no discussion. There was no debate. Jesus simply said, that's a piano. Just like he said, the kingdom of a God is here. And it's a treasure more valuable than you can ever imagine. Blessed are those who stumble upon it and then react by doing everything they can to possess it. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about that today. When did God become so surreal in our lives? He's like a maybe definite possibility kept at arm's distance. That's how most Christians view God. I'm not so sure we're doing him any favors, and I know we're not doing ourselves any favors. We're going to talk about that this morning. First, I want you to stand one more time.